Alright, hello everyone, my name's Henry and welcome to another Adobe Add-Ons showcase. Quick update, and I am going to make it quick because a lot of you guys have complained about me taking too much time with the intros, and I agree. First of all, thank you if you watched my Project Felix video. That video was a disaster in terms of recording. I was in a rush because there was a lot of stuff happening on that day. I was also in a rush because I wanted to be out quickly because I wanted to be ahead of the competition in terms of Project Felix. So there were a lot of audio issues, and I'm even considering to take it down, but then it got a massive amount of hits. And I don't think I'm going to get that if I make one now. So I'm going to keep it there for now. We'll see what happens. But I am planning to do more Felix stuff later on tonight. If I'm able to do it, I should be. There should be another video where I'll be doing my first of a lot of, I hope, Project Felix tutorial videos. So stay tuned for that. But today I'm back with another extension tutorial. No, showcase, I mean. A quick note for those waiting for the cover builder extension showcase, which I teased on Twitter and stuff. YouTube has been giving me a hard time with that ever since I finished recording it 2 weeks ago. I'm going to try uploading it sometime before I leave for Christmas vacation next week, so maybe tomorrow or maybe on Sunday. But if that doesn't work, I may have to re-record that video and then upload it, or at least re-render it. And I'm not sure I already, that's going to be a little bit of a hassle, more so than just trying to upload it again. So we'll see how that fares. But for now, I'm just kind of putting it on the shelf while I'm doing this because deals and stuff. And, this one's also been on the shelf for quite some time. So while this is still relevant, let's take a look at it. So today's extension is, it's actually funny. This is Illustrator extension, first one. I've been doing technically two InDesign extensions and still haven't done an Illustrator one. Today we are. Funnily enough, I have quite a few Illustrator extensions. It's just they're fairly old and standard. So the one we're looking at today is made by a guy who has sort of like a name going under SkyIsTheLimit, which I find to be a pretty cool name. And that is an extension called PreciseMeasure. He's also made another one called Color Chart Pro, which I purchased for myself ages ago. I considered it for an extension review, but I didn't wind up doing it. It allows you to generate color charts easily within Illustrator. But the one we're going to be taking a look at is PreciseMeasure, which, here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and sort of reset stuff here. So as you can see here, it's a fairly, as the name sort of implies, it's for measuring things in Illustrator, right? So let's head into the settings and look what we can tweak here. So we've got font color, line color, like you adjusted using blue, like you just suggested using this mix, so cyan, magenta, yellow, and key or black. And then you also got control over the text size, and you get to choose the arrowhead. Do you want it to be like a line? Do you want it to be an actual arrow, or do you want it to be like a more, what do you call it, serious arrow? I don't know. And then you have a clear button to clear said settings. Now, I find that the basic settings are pretty okay. The only thing I don't like is this magenta color. So I'm going to actually set that to 0 and then do it blue instead because I really like blue. But you can, again, if you're familiar with SMIC values, you can just set this to whatever color you want. Or you can just enter the color picker, figure out the SMIC values, and then change it. Or use an online tool, I guess. Text size, again, pretty obvious. That sets the text size. Well, you'll figure out what these settings do in a second, if it's not already obvious. I'm going to keep it at 12. Pretty nice size. Actually, no. Let's say we set it to 22, just for example. So 22. And let's do the middle arrowhead, because I kind of like arrows like that. And then, a question you guys might have is, what measurement will this be using? That depends on your Illustrator document. So if you head to document setup on file, you can choose what unit you're using. So in my case, on this particular document, it's pixels because I chose the web template when I made this document. But you can set it to centimeters, millimeters, inches, picas, and points. And the extension will, of course, then use that measurement. And this can be changed while you're in Illustrator, like while you're in an open document. Doesn't matter. I'm going to keep it at pixels, because let's say this is a digital product, Illustrator's been doing a lot more, web work in my mind, than it's been doing print work for me, at least, but, And then there's the edit menu, which allows you to do a couple more changes. kind of, again, kind of obvious. So I'm going to come back to that. So let's go ahead and just get into it. So first of all, let's do a object measurement. So let's go ahead and make a random box without even looking at how big it is. And then let's go ahead and like resize it a bit like that. So it's kind of like a rectangle. And then we'll go here and we'll press the Show Object Measurement menu. So now we get up sort of these 4 X's, and pressing them I really like these transitions and how the interface will change from like red to black. I really like how this interface actually looks and kind of the warmth it brings. While it may not completely fit in with Illustrator's design, but I feel this is kind of fun. Yeah, you know, whatever. It's cool is what I'm trying to say. So you basically choose what side you wanted to measure. So for example, if you wanted to measure all the sides, then you could do that. Now, in my situation, this is a rectangle. So obviously, I only need to measure one of each side because a rectangle is equal on 2 sides. No, on... You know how a rectangle works. My PC is dying. Interesting. We're not dying, but the battery's running low. So with that in mind, we've selected those two. So now we press Measure. And as you can see, it creates the blue lines that are specified, and the font size is a 22. It would have been a 12. You could just to sort of showcase that. We could set it down to 12 manual. Oh wait, that's not in. Okay, that's interesting. Whatever. So and then we've got the arrows that we specified, and it basically says that it's 335 pixels in the height. Stop. It's 335 pixels height in height, and then it's 541 pixels in the width. So that's useful. We could also, if you really wanted to, you could also enable these two. There we go. And then once again, measure. Oh, forgot to. Yep, I know. Okay, that gets obnoxious quickly. Let's select the object again and then measure. And you'll notice that it now added the exact same as I expected on both the top. The only issue I see here is that it actually adds an actual graphical element. It's not a big deal. You can easily remove these, but like it's a thing to be aware of. So let's go ahead and disable that. Like, I like how you can disable it so it doesn't take up the space. I do wish that these elements would kind of move. Like, for example, if I disable this one, that this one would move further up, so I won't have to move my mouse that much. It's a minor complaint, but like having it sort of resize itself depending on what you have active is always a nice thing. Like it's called I do website accordion, like kind of like an accordion type web element that you find in Bootstrap and similar. So hide space measurement menu, or not hide, but show space measurement. So for this one, we're going to go ahead and make 2 boxes. I'm going to have them be actual not rectangles, but squares. And then we'll make 2 squares. Fittingly, they're in that nice blue color. And then we'll choose both of them. And then we will do a measurement between them. So we've selected that one, which means it's going to measure the space between these two. So we're going to press the measure button, and boom, it just measured that there's 52 pixels between these two. Here I actually noticed that there should have been, like this text should have been moved a little bit up because the arrows ended up interfering. This is of course an easy fix for you if you just change to that arrowhead instead of that one, because that one does take up a lot of space. But then again, that should be something the creator should think about. Gosh, I always end up criticizing this stuff, don't I? I suppose that's good. Criticism is always important, especially when something costs money. God dang it. Okay, there we go. So let's go ahead and move this rectangle below it instead. And then we'll do the same, except this time we'll disable this measurement and then enable this measurement. So now we've got a height measurement, like the height between 2 objects. So I'm going to do measure. And that is for 45 pixels, I'd imagine. It's hard to see with this, considering how it's, how it's skewed. And yeah, 45 pixels. And then you can also measure the curve. So then I guess like we do this. And that's like these two. I'm going to remove this because it's, Great Scotland Yard. There we go. I'm not even British and I said that. And then we can do a measure. And 182 pixels. So that's the basics of PreciseMeasure. A rather simple extension. I've been looking at a lot of complicated stuff like font self and cover builder and flex stock, which add like whole new advanced templating systems. This is just a rather simple plugin that just does something really useful. allowing you to easily measure objects in your document, measure the space between them. It's especially useful, like, we all know that, like, when you put objects next to each other, and then if I copy this and then start doing it, it would tell me that, oh, this is the same distance as the last one. Like, that's normal. But if I'd put something on the other side of the document and I wanted to make sure that it had a certain distance from the other element, like, say I wanted to have a round number of distance, then this would be awesome, because I could just do this, and then just select measure, and it would tell me that, oh no, that's 586 pixels. You'll want to put that down a little bit more to make sure it's got a rounded number, like just 1 pixel down, so it's 585, or if I wanted to be even more round, take it down to 580 pixels. Awesome. Really good for your good for the workflow and stuff. And with all these settings allowing you to do full smooth control over what color these lines and the arrows and all are going to be, and choosing the text size, like, what is the max on this? 100. You can have up to 100 points, which is, I believe that's what it's measuring in points. Up to 100 points in text size, which is awesome. And this clear button makes it easy to set it back to the default settings. So all in all, a great, simple extension for Illustrator. And the creator has informed me that there will be coming a couple of updates, which will make it even better in the future. So yeah, there'll be a link to the creative market, and I can't remember if this is on the Adobe Add-Ons store. If it isn't, it'll probably be in the future, considering how my Color Chart Pro, the extension here, that was downloaded from the Adobe Add-Ons store. So I reckon if it's not there, it'll be there soon. So links to both of those. However, I personally recommend using the Creative Market link, because if you have not registered for Creative Market yet, if you use that link, register, then I will be receiving 10% of every purchase you make for the rest of this year, or for 1 year after you registered, which will be a huge help to me and my channel, and will help me create better content. So yeah, and again, links in the description to download it if you thought this extension was cool and you want to add it to your Illustrator arsenal, I guess you could call it. I personally find it awesome. I will definitely try to use it. My only thing that you might have noticed at the start of the video, and this is quite normal for Illustrator extensions, the icon is not working. This traditionally happens, especially on Retina. I do not know the solution. I see it on a lot of Illustrator extensions, so I'm not sure what the developer can do about it. But it's certainly something to be aware of. But then again, an icon shouldn't stop you from buying something. The product should. And this product shouldn't stop you from buying it. Enough rambling. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you have any questions, tell me down in the comments below. I'm sure the creator of the extension might also be watching this video, so he might also comment and answer your questions. I don't know. And as well as that, don't forget to subscribe if you like this content. And again, as I mentioned, there will be a Felix tutorial coming up later tonight, so subscribe to stay tuned in that. And there will, of course, also be other tutorials and similar video content coming in the future. So if any of that interests you, which I hope it really does, then stay tuned for more content. Thank you for watching.